Joel chapter 1, verse 9, it says this: "The grain offering and the drink offerings are cut off from the house of the Lord. The priests mourn, the ministers of the Lord." So not only did he take their wine and their grain, but in the process, he took away their ability to worship. Because wine and grain was part of the ceremonial aspects of the law. He said, "You're going to be cold. You don't want anything to do with me, but you're still pretending to have this form of godliness while denying its power. I want nothing to do with it. I won't even allow you to worship anymore." A side note here, I know God is sovereign, and I don't claim to know what He's doing with COVID, but let's not lose sight of the fact that whether you agreed with the lockdowns or not, God shut the doors of many churches for a period of time. That should speak to us. And 1 in 5, it is estimated, will not or have not or will not come back. 1 out of 5 churches, in the process of God allowing COVID to do whatever COVID is doing, He has shut down 20% of churches in the United States. Again, I don't know what God is doing with that. And some of those churches were good churches. And some of those churches were just worldly churches. But if there's ever a time for the church to begin to examine itself, I think this was a good time. Why would God do that? John Calvin says this, speaking of the people of the Jews of Joel's time, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but he says this. He's speaking to them and he says, "Well, maybe none of these calamities have touched you personally, but do at least now look on the temple of God, which is now destitute of its ordinary services." Again, these people were so cold towards God. God was disciplining them by restricting their ability to worship, and they didn't even recognize it. Yes, they felt the emptiness in their stomachs because the food was gone, but they did not feel the emptiness in their hearts. And so the question is this us? Our culture is moving further and further away from God. And our entertainment is becoming more and more perverse. And many churches have abandoned the Word of God for entertainment and self-help or just dead orthodoxy. Church worship has been disappearing for years. When I grew up, every Wednesday night we went to church. And eventually that started to disappear. And then in most churches, Sunday night began to disappear. And so most churches only have one gathering a week for corporate worship. Sure, they have small groups and they have this other stuff. But if you look at it over the years, worship has been disappearing. And so, have we just been too insensitive to realize this? This may be the hand of God trying to get the attention of us. Because one of the things that the Lord can do, He says, if you don't really want my word, if you would rather have entertainment and self-help, I can send a famine of my word. And I will guarantee you, whatever you replace it with will destroy you.